Dear Professor David Harel, President of Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities, dear Professor Liran Carmel, dear Academy members, dear special guests, gifted high school students from the Israel Art and Science Academy, YASA, in Jerusalem, dear audience here and online. I'm honored and immensely pleased to open the 2025 annual Charles Darwin Lecture of the Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities. I invite Professor David Harel, President of the Academy, to deliver his introductory remarks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to mention the students first. It's always a great pleasure and honor to have this or some other group of students here. And I don't know if you remember, but you have the first option of asking questions before all these older people. Dear Professor Yossi Kos, Chairman of the Natural Sciences Division of the Academy, Professor Liran Carmel, of course, our guest for this evening, members of the Academy, distinguished guests, those who are here in the hall, and those joining us live or viewing this event later remotely. Since we launched the Charles Darwin Lecture Series a few years ago, the Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities has been proud to host as lecturers world-renowned researchers in the fields related to Charles Darwin's work, such as evolutionary biology. Tonight, we are particularly pleased to host for the first time in this series a young and brilliant Israeli researcher, Professor Liran Carmel from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Tonight's lecture is particularly in keeping with Darwin's spirit. Just as Darwin combined meticulous field observations with meticulous analysis of data, so too does Professor Carmel's research uniquely combine genetic research with computer science and data analysis. This combination is at the heart of much modern research, the ability to exploit the significance of vast data mountains using advanced computational tools. My connection with Liran is also personal. I'm really profoundly proud to have served as Liran's doctoral thesis supervisor in the early 2000s, working together on olfaction, the sense of smell. There too, we combined experimentation with data analysis, carrying out experiments with many chemicals using an electronic nose, and then carefully analyzing the resulting data. Liran finished his PhD in 2004, and to me, it was clear even then that we were dealing with a super talented young scientist. Still, I never imagined that we would host him here at the Israel Academy as our celebrated 2025 Darwin lecturer. As we will see shortly, after switching fields, probably a very wise step, Liran set out on a truly impressive scientific career, carrying out groundbreaking research in the field of ancient DNA. This area of work has become recognized as being extremely important, and the 2022 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to Svante Pavlo, with whom Liran works, for discoveries concerning the genome of extinct hominins and human evolution. Alongside figures like Professor Pavlo, Liran Carmel is considered one of the world's leading researchers in this fascinating field, where scientists manage to extract and sequence DNA from ancient bones and teeth, even more ancient than the oldest Academy members here, thereby directly reading the genetic story of our distant ancestors. This ability to read the DNA of humans who lived often hundreds of thousands of years ago is dramatically changing our understanding of human evolution. Thus, for example, we now know that we, modern humans, carry in our genomes evidence of prehistoric encounters between Neanderthals and Denisovans. Professor Carmel's research extends this understanding to the field of epigenetics, the chemical changes that affect how genes are used, and not just the genetic sequence itself. So tonight we will hear about how ancient DNA is rewriting the story of human evolution, and how the combination of genetics, epigenetics, and algorithmics allows us to better understand the fascinating journey that led us to become who we are today. As evolutionary geneticist Theodosius Dobransky said, nothing in biology is understood except in the light of evolution. Nowadays, with advanced computational and genetic tools, we can not only understand evolution, but we can also read its actual story in unprecedented detail. In this complex period for Israel, as we continue to face great challenges, especially those that started 3 years ago and 2 years ago, it is important to remember that science is borderless and universal and must remain so. The weakening of science, whether by offensive and cynical government measures from within or by widespread and crippling academic boycotts from without, harms the common well-being of humans far more than it harms science itself. So now, more than ever, honest, unfettered scientific research and open international cooperation are crucially essential. Sadly, the academic boycotts from abroad are not likely to disappear anytime soon unless a true solution is made and carried out, with Israel showing honest and clear signs of working towards a peaceful solution throughout the region. And even then, the damage already accrued will probably take years to mend. And this correlates nicely with tonight's event, since Professor Liran Carmel's research on ancient DNA reminds us that we all share a common origin, that the boundaries between different human groups are more temporary and blurred than we thought, and that all of humanity is really one big family with a fascinating shared history and shared challenges which we must all confront together. This message is especially important at a time when it's so easy to focus on the differences between various kinds of human beings and to forget the common. So, dear Liran, I'm particularly proud to host you tonight, not only as the president of the Academy, but also as someone who was lucky enough to have accompanied you along the initial part of your wonderful scientific journey. We are all looking forward to hearing your fascinating lecture and seeing how you illuminate one of the most exciting chapters in the human story. I would like to thank the dedicated Academy staff for organizing this special event, especially Yael Ben Chaim and Naama Shiloni. Thank you so much, everyone.
Professor Liran Carmel is a computational biologist at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, where he holds the Schneider-Graneder Chair in Genetics. His research focuses on molecular evolution, combining genetics, epigenetics, and ancient DNA to shed new light on human evolution. Professor Carmel and his team pioneered methods to reconstruct epigenetic patterns from ancient genomes, revealing how changes in gene activity shaped modern humans and how they differ from extinct relatives such as the Netherlands and the Denisovans. Professor Carmel also uses ancient DNA to explore historical questions, from reconstructing the genetic profiles of ancient populations such as the Canaanites to identifying individuals buried in places like the Mausoleum of Herodium. Professor Carmel was born in and raised in Israel. He studied for his BSc in physics in the Academy Atuda and served in the military as a physicist in Rafael Advanced Defense Systems. During his military service, he completed or obtained his MSc degree in quantum mechanics at the Technion under the supervision of Eddie Mann. After his military service, Carmel completed his PhD degree in mathematics and computer sciences at the Weizmann Institute, as you heard, and under the supervision of David Harel. In his PhD, and you heard about it. Carmel developed algorithm for auto coding digitization in 2004. Carmel went to the USA for postdoctoral studies at the National Institute of Health, where he specialized in molecular evolution in the research group of Eugene Koonin. Carmel returned to Israel in 2008 and established a computational biology research at the Department of Genetics, the Alexander Silberman Institute of Life Sciences at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. In 2014, together with Professor Eran Meshorer, he developed a computational technique to reconstruct genome-wide maps of DNA methylation, which is a key epigenetic mechanism from ancient DNA sequences. He was the first to reconstruct epigenetic patterns of archaic humans and to identify genes that are differentially methylated between archaic and modern humans. These genes include many that are expressed in the brain and are associated with neurological disorders such as the Alzheimer's disease, autism, and schizophrenia. This work was selected among the top 10 discoveries of the 2014 by the Oncology magazine. In 2017, Carmel developed a tool that identifies organs and body parts that are preferentially enriched within a set of genes. This tool helps in understanding how the human body is affected by changes in the expression of levels of genes. Combining this tool with these studies on DNA methylation patterns in the archaic humans, and together with Professor Meshorer, Carmel showed in 2020 that the vocal and facial anatomy of modern humans differ from the neanderthals and the Denisovans, which point at fascinating evolutionary process during the past hundreds of thousands of years that affected the modern human voice box. Professor Carmel brings a unique quantitative perspective to questions about our evolutionary past. He published dozens of research papers in these fields. His work has been recognized internationally, including being selected among Science Magazine Breakthroughs of the Year in 2019, won first People's Choice of Science Breakthrough of 2019, and was selected among the top stories of the year by Science News. In 2021, Carmel received the Massey Prize, joined with Svante Pablo and David Rich for groundbreaking contribution to the field of ancient DNA. Professor Carmel is deeply committed to science communication, frequently speaking to public audience, appearing in documentaries and podcasts, and engaging with students of all ages. May I call Professor Carmel to the podium.